sunny day on a field near the Chatfield Reservoir.
I'm fine.
John Jenkins is waiting.
However, I'm overwhelmed with all this.
He has a lot of stories in 85 years, but one he has wanted to tell: riding in a hot air balloon. A last wish.
I'm under the care of hospice. You know what that means? I'm on the downhill side. That's all there is.
And there is, this day, his chance to go up. But just as soon as the balloon guides unpacked the balloon, they had to put it away.
We don't like to fly when it gets too windy. The landings get extremely rough.
All I want to do is go in a balloon.
We'll make it happen. We'll have a good time.
Okay, Gary.
A week later, the same time, same field, it wasn't the same John.
He's progressed quite a bit since last week, even.
Not feeling well, but refusing to miss his second chance. John pushed on.
Grab onto whatever you need to. We're pushing, John. You just get that other leg over. Perfect. There you go.
John, now just sit down.
Sit down on it.
Yep. Sit right there.
Just make him smile for a day. He hasn't been able to do that much lately.
He's thinking that, wow, it's worth every bit of hardship to get here with nobody else around.
But you can't believe how serene.
I know. Yeah. I just miss him.
And you can see everything for miles. You can't beat it. It's a thrill. This is once in a lifetime. Absolutely perfect.
A thrill so great, John is at peace. He lost his battle with cancer just a few days after his balloon ride. His family is thankful, though, that he did get to fulfill that dream before heading off to his next adventure.
I look down on all you folks and say, sorry you can't come with me.
Jessica Zartler, 9 News.
As their story.
The Heritage Eagle Bend Retirement Community is known for its golf course and quiet grounds. But lately, it's getting louder. Talk about something else.
Sexy. You bet. They all do, and they all look like they're very sure of themselves, and I think that's great. Good for them. They don't operate the beer cart, obviously. I would have noticed.
More flesh than I've seen in a long time.
A calendar featuring the women of the retirement community. They're all over 60, but you wouldn't know it hanging out with them on the patio.
We may be older, but we still like to have fun.
And you definitely wouldn't know it looking at the calendar. There they are on the greens with very little on. And check out January. You thought playing cards with Grandma was boring.
The entire thing was just a lot of fun from the beginning to the end.
Meet Sherry Bradley, also known as Mrs. July, decked out as Lady Liberty with next to nothing on when she shot this photo on a windy day.
I was just trying to keep my sheet together.
And the exposure, both skin and attention, Sherry says it's been liberating.
I was very flattered to be a part of it, but I found as the years go on that I have an appreciation of the person that I am.
Sherry and calendar organizer Shirley Eaton say getting older is about redefining beauty.
We are very attractive women. We have a lot of confidence and poise, and that's part of being beautiful. Well, we had a few people in the community that thought it was a little risque, and after the rollout party the other afternoon, I don't think anybody feels that way anymore.
Especially not the men of Heritage Eagle Bend.
I keep calling this our stimulus package.
Jessica Zartler, 9 News.
It's so cute.
They are cute. For the record,
They say you should never ask a lady her age, but Dorothy Snarley, well, she's not too shy to tell you.
I'm 87 years old.
But that fact is rarely on her mind.
Don't consider your age, just always have a goal.
Today's goal? To hike Mount Sherman.
In my younger days, I wouldn't have even thought of it. But then the mountains call you, don't they? I try to sing. God bless America, or America the Beautiful. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain. It takes my body a while to adjust.
Stopping to take in the sights definitely helps. So do the water breaks.
Drink time.
But the higher the elevation, the more difficult to breathe. Every time Dorothy clears a ridge, she's inspired to keep going.
I'm going to go right up the trail. Come on, let's go. We're not quite there.
And after 4.5 hours of hiking.
Yay, we're here. And I just thank our Creator God for the beauty and also the privilege to do it.
A woman proud of her years, still climbing and still singing.
For purple mountain majesties.
Jessica Zartler.
Above the fruited plain.
9 News.
And I'm going to end.
Dorothy has 10 grandchildren, 10 great-grandchildren, and she started hiking 14ers when she was just 65, including this last one. She has done 24.
Lines are definitely moving way better than they were this morning. Things have cleared out quite a bit. However, there are still people trying to get on flights. Their flights were canceled yesterday, and now the Memorial Day flights are very full. So a lot of people are still stuck on standby.
It's not exactly the Ritz or even Motel 8. But last night, DIA was the best hotel stranded passengers could get.
We were sleeping at the MGM Grand, and 2 nights ago we were at Caesars Palace. And now we're sleeping on the floor in Denver Airport.
Ann Duff and her husband were headed back to Canada from Las Vegas when their flight was canceled. United told them there were no other flights. Hotels were full.
Concrete floors aren't very comfortable. No pillows. We had a blanket. It's very loud. Very cold. I've never felt homeless before, but I think that was as close as you can get without the severe weather outside.
The Duffs at least had this foam pad. Some Frontier passengers like Nancy Monger weren't so lucky. They only had the floor.
These old bones, you know, were kind of suffering last night.
And the suffering wasn't over. When passengers woke up, they found check-in lines wrapped around the corner, and the security line stretched all the way to the baggage claim with no guarantees, only standby.
I just want to go home. I just want a flight out of here sometime today.
For Nancy Monger, hope she can see her daughter, who is pregnant with her first grandchild.
The time that I will miss with her, the 2 days, that's what, you know, is probably the worst part of it.
The worst part, unless she stays another night at the DIA motel. If only they made those comfy carriers in adult sizes.
That carrier is probably a lot more comfortable than this foam pad. This is all some passengers got, as I said, so definitely an uncomfortable night. And those people may have another uncomfortable night ahead because, again, a lot of these flights, just because of the holiday weekend, are already full. And the airline is telling people, both Frontier and United, that there's a good chance they might not get out until tomorrow, Kyle. But the airlines tell me that they are doing what they can to help all of these passengers who are stuck.
All right, Jessica Zartler reporting live at the airport. Thank you very much.
Larry the Lynx. 9 News reporter Jessica Zartler joins us now live from the Capitol. Jessica, the march is just starting there.
Cheryl, actually, they're lined up, ready to go. We're here at 14th and Broadway. Take a look behind me. This group has grown from about 24 to over 100 in just the last half an hour. They're waving balloons. They brought their kids, their dogs, and they're about to start marching here in just the next few minutes. Now, you'll remember Republic Airways bought Frontier last year in a bankruptcy auction for almost $109 million and moved its hub to Indianapolis. Republic also bought Midwest and is now planning to rebrand the whole fleet, leaving the future of Frontier up in the air. Protesters say it has taken a long time to build a reputation, and they're worried the animals that have adorned the tails of the planes won't be around much longer.
So, Larry, what do you think of our new stretch seating? 5 more inches of legroom.
Yeah, the passengers seem to like it.
Who wouldn't like 5 more inches?
From Foxy the Fox to Flip the Dolphin, there are more than 60 animals. They have a lot of fans. The Facebook page to save them and the Frontier brand has more than 4,400 members. Protesters say if Republic changes the airline look, it will have to start from the ground up to build trust and loyalty.
And it's not a tagline, it's not just a paint job. You have animals that talk, have personalities, have faces and names and bios and everything. And, you know, people have made that connection. So, you know, it's like if it's not broke, don't break it, because we don't want to have to start all over with a generic airline and prove ourselves in the industry.
Back out here live, you can see they have just left the corner. They're headed down the street. They're going to come around the Capitol building, march all the way to the 6th Street Mall and back. And with these balloons and whistles and cheers, people are honking. They're really hoping, Cheryl, that their voices will be heard.
Well, you know, a lot of people love those animals. I guess that's proof positive. They're at the Capitol right with you there, Jessica.
Yes, exactly. They've even brought their dogs and their kids out, so they're just trying to make a point here.
All right, Jessica Zartler at the State Capitol. Thank you, Jessica.
Three, two, one.
With an explosion and debris, it looked like a war zone. Mother Nature's attack on I-70 in the form of 66 tons of rock came tumbling down around midnight in Glenwood Canyon, punching a gaping hole in the middle of the road.
It's the structures that are more concerning.
And stopping 25,000 cars and trucks from getting where they need to go.
Detour.
Delivery's already late.
Russell Pollock's trying to drive beer to Washington.
They'll have to go thirsty. Tough.
And a 16-year-old who was on her way to get her driver's license.
My heart sank a little bit.
And while drivers are waiting, CDOT is working sunup to sundown to drill, blast, and clear the rock.
Our crews are well trained in explosives and blowing and drilling and everything that they need to do.
While engineers study the slope and the bridge to make sure they're safe.
This is a headache, of course it is, for everybody involved in something like this. But I think the bottom line is we're going to wait till the road is safe before we open it.
In the meantime, the only thing getting through Glenwood Canyon is the Amtrak train. In Glenwood Canyon, Jessica Zartler, 9 News.
9 News reporter Jessica Zartler is at the airport. And Jessica, that pilot is well trained and likely prevented a far bigger disaster here.
That's right, Cheryl. We're told by a flight instructor, a fellow flight instructor here at Vance Brand Airport, that this woman who did this landing out here was an FAA examiner. So she likely had a lot of training in this scenario, knew what to do, and officials are saying it's to her credit that no one else was injured here on the ground. Take a look at this video so you can get a closer look. This happened at about 11:48 this morning, just 5 minutes after the other crash. We're told this is a single engine Cessna plane. As you mentioned, it did clip the power lines. About 132 homes were without power for about 2 hours. That has since been restored. It did not shut down the airport. Skydivers were still launching this afternoon, but this plane, it's really amazing that she clipped the power lines and landed backwards and was still able to survive thanks to some public works employees who ran to the plane.
It was pretty intense. There was a couple people still, trying to help out. So, there were still parts flying around. There was fuel coming out of the engine and out of the plane at that point. So I just wanted to get out of there before it caught fire.
The Those public works employees are being called heroes today, though they say they would have done the same thing anyone who would have walked by that plane this afternoon. They actually went back to work right after they pulled the woman out of the plane, so truly to be commended. But right now, investigators are on scene. It's going to be a long night ahead. They've already brought out a light that they're going to be putting up here shortly as they wait for NTSB investigators to come out to the scene. Cheryl?
Amazing to see the wings still intact there behind you. Jessica Zartler at Vance Brand Airport in Longmont. Thanks, Jessica.